Okay, yeah. Oh no, where's the B'nai Horim? I think that was
Where
the
are we?
Halach
Where
Ma'anya.
I'm using
Okay.
Safaria. Where are we, Carol?
Okay, so we are going to start with Avadim Hayinu when it says in big print, the answer. Okay, the answer. So we have done explaining what's on the Seder, on the Ka'ara, on the Seder plate, and we have done the outline, the singing table of contents, and we did, this is the bread of affliction. Okay, and we did Shehechianu, and so now the Passover story, we talk about the bread of affliction, and I said in the Halach Ma'anya, the last words are B'nai Chorim, the sons of free people. So when we start with Avadim Hayinu, the song goes like this, and I always wondered, as I said last week when we were finishing, where's the end of the song? It's not in Avadim Hayinu, in that paragraph. So it goes Avadim Hayinu, Hayinu, the Pharaoh b'Mitzrayim, b'Mitzrayim, and it repeats Avadim Hayinu. Here it comes, and I told you to underline from Halach Ma'anya the last two words, Ata, which means now, Ata, Ata, B'nai Chorin. Now we are sons of free people.
Carol, I don't know where you are, Carol.
Okay. Last time we did in Halach Ma'anya, that was page 3 of last week. The last two words of the Halach Ma, that one, this is the bread of affliction.
Oh, okay, I see, okay.
Okay, and I said to underline B'nai Chorin, the sons of free people. Right. So when you're doing Avadim Hayinu, in Avadim Hayinu, L'Pharaoh b'Mitzrayim, Ata B'nai Chorin, it made me crazy. I said, how can you have a song? There's the last words are missing. If you look in the Avadim Hayinu paragraph, it's not there. So I looked and I found it. The last two words in Halach Ma'anya are B'nai Chorin. And if you look on page 3 from last week, you'll see that I'm right, that's where it is.
What's so we were slaves. Top of the page, because I have everything in my computer according to what you sent. What's at the very top of the, what's the heading from what you sent, please?
The beginning is Avadim Hayinu. No, actually, that's not. I sent that was page 5 from last week, Sherry. And we didn't get to it. The 4 sons.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so that was Avadim Hayinu. We were slaves to Pharaoh in Egypt, and God, the Yotzienu, Adonai Eloheinu, Misham, and God brought us out from there. Biyad Chazakah, with a strong hand, Uvizroa, and a shank bone, and an arm, a stretched out arm. Okay, and so after that, we get, don't forget, I am pulling out excerpts. I'm not doing every single thing. I'm pulling out the things that I want. So we had gone through the 4 questions, and now we have 4 sons, and we were beginning to talk about them. And that's still on last week's page 5, if you printed it out. So we have Chacham, the wise son. Rasha could be translated as rebellious. We know teenagers are like that. I wouldn't call them wicked. Tam, not educated. In Yiddish, a tamtut means an idiot. So if you're calling someone tam, it really means foolish, silly, stupid. That's in modern Hebrew, that word tam. And the 4th one is the baby, too young to really know stuff. And that's she'eno, who is not yodea, not knowing, lish'ol, to ask. And so you have to find another visuals, you have to find tangible things to touch, you have to find different ways, fun games to attract the attention of the child, the baby, you know. All right, so I would like you to practice your Hebrew reading on this, because this is some solid stuff. It was page 5 from last week, which we didn't complete, the 4 sons. Diana, would you like to read Hacham? Would you want to be the smart girl?
Okay. Okay. Hacham hu omer, Ma'a enot, I'm sorry,
Edot.
edot, vaha chukim, vehamispatim, asher siua,
Siva.
siva, Adonai Eloheinu etchem, ve'ef ata, ve'af, okay, ve'af ata emar lo, behil chot,
Kahil. Kahil
kahil,
chod.
oh, I'm sorry, yeah, kahil chot,
Mhm.
hapesach, ein maftirin achad achar, hapesach, afikoman.
Yeah, right. You recognize the word?
Yeah, well, no, but I
Afikoman.
just realized it as I was saying it.
Right, I heard it. So, okay, so the wise son is the one who asked the question. What are the laws? Edot and Hukim are the laws, and also our mishpatim. They're all different kinds of laws, which God commanded you. And so the wise son, and you know, if you have different children, each one is different. If you're a teacher like I am, a lifetime teacher, within a class, you have all different kinds of students, and you have to make adjustments for them. Right? You teach them in the way that they're teachable. You can't force a shoe on a foot that it doesn't fit, right? So you can do it to a horse, and you don't do it to a child. So the smart one, there's always a whip in the class. There's always someone who will ask very stimulating questions, and you'll say, gee, I never thought of that. You know, that's a great question. So that's the wise one. And then now we get to the one who's the rebellious one. Anybody have rebellious children?
Oh, no, not at all.
All right, you're up. Go ahead, Fox.
Rasha Mahu Omer. Ma ha'avodah hazot lachem. Lachem below lo ulfi shehutzi et
Hotzi.
hotzi et atmo min haklal
Good.
kafar ba'ikar ba'af ata hakei et shinan. Yes. Ba'omer lo. Ba'avur ze osei Adonai li b'tseiti miMitzrayim li below lo ilu haya sham lo haya nigaal.
Okay, so this is a pretty severe punishment. It's not like me running down the hall with a wooden spoon after my sons because they're fighting. This one says the wicked or the rebellious one, his punishment is if he had been there in Egypt with this attitude, like, I don't care about anything, I'm not interested, count me out, he would not have been redeemed. In other words, he would not have gone on the Exodus with us. He would have stayed as a slave, okay? Because if he didn't go along with, okay, there are certain things we have to do, we've been commanded, and I don't want to do them. You know, ilu, if hayasham, if he had been there, lo haya nigal, and nigal means saved, redeemed. He would not have come out of slavery with us. He would still be there. So that's a pretty strong punishment, I would say. Okay, so the wise one, everyone praises him, and you know, we love his questions and all that. Now we get to the one who's not educated, and that's a nice translation for Tom, because Tom, if you look up in a Hebrew dictionary, like I said, means silly, stupid, foolish. Tipesh, it's like tipesh. Okay, we'll say not educated. Okay, and let me see who's come in. How about Sherry Rubin? Would you like to read that?
And I used to work with special ed kids, so it's kind of fitting. Tom, Ma, Hu, Omer, Ma,
Zot.
The Amar Ta, Elam, Elon,
Elav.
Elav, Bechotzer, Tek, Yad, Hotzi, Anu, Adonai, Mimit, right, Mimit Raim, Mi Bain, Avadim.
Beit, Avadim. Good. So the one who's not educated, Mahu Omer, like we used to have Shimon Omer, Simon says. What does he say? What's this? Okay, he's not educated. He doesn't know the story. So he's looking around and he says, so what's this? And of course, that's exactly what we want. We want to attract questions. But Amarta Elav, you will say to him, Bechozek Yad, with a strong hand, Hotzianu, brought us out, Adonai, God brought us out from Egypt, Mi Mitzrayim, Mi Beit Avadim. So you're going to start for him by saying, the story begins in Egypt, we were slaves, and it tells about how God brought us out of slavery. And that's where you start. That's not where you end, but that's the beginning. You start a story for a child. You're a special ed teacher, then you know. You start small and then you build on ideas, right? You can't give them the whole thing at once. So you have to get one concept and then another concept and whatever. Okay, so that's the uneducated one. He doesn't know about this, okay? And it's a learning experience. Okay, now we have the little one, the tinok, the baby. So we have to get someone who, does anyone have a little kid or a very young grandchild, grandson, granddaughter who's going to be at the Seder and you are going to talk to that person, that little person?
Yeah,
Well,
I do.
okay, Edie, let's go.
Vishe'eno, I'm sorry, Vishe'eno, Yodea, Lisha'ol, 8, Pesach Lo.
At,
At Pesach Lo. Shene'emar, Vehigta,
okay, so that word is vihigadita, because that shva is sounded, vihigadita.
Vehigata,
Mhm.
Yivtecha, Bayom, Hahu, Leo, is it Leomar?
Lemor.
Lemor.
There's no vowel with the aleph.
Okay. And the vowel with the mem is what? Is the O?
Yes.
Okay. Lemor. Ba'avor ze asa Adonai li b'tzeti mi Mitzrayim.
Good, thank you, very nice. And this she'eno, and the one, she'eno, the one who cannot, who does not know how Yodea, Lishol, and the baby who can't ask a question, you will begin for him. At Patachlo, you'll open up for him, you'll start. Shenermar, as it is said, Behigada Talavincha, and you will, and this is like a quote, and you will tell your son, your child, Bayom Hahu, on that day, and say, because of what God did for me when I went forth from Egypt. So in any case, you're starting with the story. It's the beginning of the Seder, and it's traditional for we have 4 different kinds of sons, and they're going to ask questions about the Seder. And this is a whole teaching tool. Now we get into today's material that I sent. And again, you will not find this stuff consecutive. They're chronologically correct, but they're not consecutive page by page because it would take us a whole week. I used to teach this in like a month in Hebrew school, and we had that 3 times a week. All right, Monday, Wednesday, Sunday, and it took us time. So the first page that I sent you was called Vihi Sha'amda. Vihi Sha'amda, raise a cup of wine and say, all right, and it goes like this, Vihi Sha'amda, Vihi Sha'amda. Alice, do you know the melody? Does anyone know the melody? Okay, Alice, you
Yeah,
know it?
I can do it if you like.
Yeah, why don't you do that one?
Okay. Vehi she'amda, lavotenu velanu. Vehi she'amda, lavotenu velanu. Shelo echad bilvad, amar aleinu lechalot. Shelo echad bilvad, Amar aleinu lechalotenu, Ela shebechol tovador, Omid aleinu lechalotenu, Ela shebechol tovador, Omid aleinu lechalotenu, Hekaveh hakadosh Baruch Hu, Motzi leinu meyad.
Leinu miadam. Okay,
Carol?
so this is a promise. Yes?
Motzi leinu me'adam.
I just wanted to say that the uncle that we went to in New Jersey was a survivor. And this is a very special prayer that, like we cry every time we do this, because he said when he was in the camps, this is the prayer that kept them going. That this was a very important prayer while he was in the camps. And he had a beautiful voice, and I can still hear him when he chants.
Yeah, well, because it says Ela Shebechol Dor Vador. This is something that happened from generation to generation. Omdim Aleinu, standing for us,
Against us to
Lechalotenu, from
destroy
the
us.
beginning, and the Hakadosh Baruch Hu, and the Holy One, Matzilenu Miadam, takes us out of their hand, Lahatzilos, to help, or to free us from their hand. So it is a prayer that
Very
gives
powerful,
hope.
and it's such a beautiful melody.
It is a very beautiful melody. I love this one too. Okay, so and that I felt that's very important that you read it, that you can say it. Why don't we just say it? Okay, I'll say it and everybody say it after me. Vihi sha'amda
Vehi she'amda,
lavotenu velanu,
lavotenu velanu.
as he promised to our fathers and us. Shelo echad bilvad. Amad aleinu
Amad
lechalotenu ella
ela
shebechol dor vador omdim aleinu lechalotenu. Yeah, people standing against us to finish us off. V'hakadosh Baruch Hu
v'hakadosh Baruch Hu,
matzilenu miyadam.
matzilenu meyadam.
So is what Sherry was saying. In every generation, they stand against us to finish us off, but the Holy One, blessed is He, it rescues us from their hand. So, I mean, that is something, I hope, yeah.
Could we hear it again?
Question?
No, could we hear it again or, with the melody?
All right, I'll sing it this time. V'hi she'amda lavotenu v'lanu. V'hi she'amda lavotenu v'lanu. Shelo echad bilvad amad aleinu lechalotenu. Ella shebechol dor vador omdim aleinu lechalotenu. V'hakadosh baruch hu matzilenu miyadam.
Thank
It's a
you.
nice melody.
Wonderful.
Okay, now we know the 10 plagues, but some of them I thought were a little confusing to me. So I looked back into the text. I got out my Chumash, and I wanted to see what the commentary had, what they said for the different plagues, because there are a few that, well, it could be this or this. So I looked into the text in Exodus to see what it actually is. So this is what I came up with. So dam is blood. The Safaria is frogs. Kinim, lice. Arov, now that's one that could be translated as either lots of wild animals, and I don't know what kind of wild animals they were talking about in Egypt, or swarms of insects. If you look at the commentary in the Chumash, this is what they say. It could be this or could be that. Okay, dever, animal disease. The next 5. Shechin is definitely boils. Barad is hail. Arba is definitely locusts. Choshech. Now, and look at the word choshech. That's a double duty dot. What do I mean by that? That dot serves as a vowel for the chet, cho, and it is also on the right, and it is a shin. The next letter is a shin. Now, sometimes in some texts, you might see that word written with 2 dots, one being the vowel over the chet, the cho, and the second dot being the dot that makes that a shin and not a sin. That's why those in the trade call it a double duty dot. That one dot is a vowel, and it's also part of the letter. Choshech, darkness. And then we have definitely makat, the striking of bechorot. Chorot is a firstborn. Ben ha-bechor, the bechor is always the firstborn. Okay, so when we're talking about a first live birth, and it's a male, that baby has to go through a pidyon haben, a redemption at the end of the first month of life. Okay, so let's say okay, here's another thing, a nice little midrash. When I was a kid, I used to put my pinky into the wine, and after each one of the plagues, I would lick my finger. It was nice, sweet wine. As I got older and was teaching Hebrew school, I read that, no, you're supposed to take the wine glass and just spill off a drop.
Oh,
And you're not supposed to be licking your finger like, oh, this is good. These are plagues. These are representative of bad stuff that happened to the Egyptians in Mitzrayim. So you're not supposed to be enjoying this. This symbolically is bad, and it was for your enemies. Okay, what finally made them say, okay, look, you horrible Jews, get out of here. We can't take it any longer. Especially when the Pharaoh's son and all the firstborn Egyptians and the firstborn of cattle are being killed off. So you can take your cup and just pour off a little bit. You can give everybody like a little salad plate, and you can do that. They whisk them away and wash them so you'll have it for whatever course you want to serve your fish or whatever on there. Okay, so here we have, say them after me. Dam. Sephardeia. Kinim. Arov. Dever. Shechin. Barad. Arbe. Choshech. Choshech. It gives you a ch in the beginning and a ch at the end. Choshech. Very nice. Makat bechorot. Michelle, would you repeat them?
Me? Okay.
Yeah, you.
Dam Zifardea, Kinim, Arov, Dever, Shechin, Barad, Arbe, Roshech, Kevor,
It's a bet.
Bevorot.
Bechorot.
Bevorot. Okay.
Correct. Bechorot. All right. Let's go back on that line 1 to the last word. Now you see that it's called a metach. You see that straight line under the dalet. That shows us to accent the first syllable. It's dever. Dever. Okay, so when you see that kind of a line, that means the accent is there. Okay, that was wonderful. Okay, let me just take a quick head count because I see some more people have joined us. And I want to make sure I get everybody. I see Paula. I see Sherry Stein. Good. Let me see. Oh, Beryl is not in. I see Beth. Okay, Janice, Elaine, make it. Rhoda cannot make it. Okay, very good. All right, so moving right along.
Can I add something?
Yes.
It's Sherry. Okay, so our 2 things. I was just working on a women's Seder, and all the new Seder plates now have 8 holes instead of 6. And the other 2 holes, one's for an orange and one's for olives, like an olive branch. And when you talk about the olives, our JCC put out a thing the other day about you know, how awful everything is. So they put in a prayer. And they put in about all the terror attacks, and they put in a prayer, and we decided to add this to our women's Seder. Oseh shalom b'mramav, uyaseh shalom, aleinu via kol Yisrael, ba'a kol yoshvei tevel.
Okay, I'll call Yoshvei and all inhabitants.
Right, so
Yes.
that we wish the whole earth, not just Israel, which is what we usually do on a Saturday,
Right.
but the whole earth should have peace. And so when we talk about the olives, which is extending the olive branch, we just put in this prayer for the whole world.
The olives,
Very
we
nice.
talked about that last week. The olives represent peace.
Right. So
Right.
we are putting in this prayer because there's no real prayer for the olives. It's just more of a discussion. So we're putting this prayer in for when we talk about the olives.
All right, well, I think I said to Rabbi Sella last Shabbat services, I said, Rabbi Sella, I liked your beats. So she smiled because she had said to put in a beat or some beats to remember the suffering of the Ukrainians this year in the ongoing war with Russia. So that was
Beets, olive branch, whatever it is.
okay. Well, that beats, that's kind of like a Russian Ukrainian
Right.
type of
thing to
borscht.
eat. But
Right.
olives can be on your, I mean, the idea of the olive branch and extending it out.
Sherry,
Yeah.
Sherry Stein, did anybody, well, what Seder plates? Are these ones that they're selling? Or is
The
it a
new
plastic?
Seder plates are no longer just 6 dishes. They're now 8.
Are these the Seder plates that they're selling?
Yeah, real ones.
Okay.
So
Did
companies
anybody-
are going to eight circles. 8
Did
places.
anybody oppose that? Was there any backlash on that?
I haven't heard of any.
From traditionalists? Okay, well, you're going to be reading something for me in a moment. All right, I particularly thought of you with the next page. All right, on the bottom of page 1 that I sent you, we have, in our house, we don't go through all the stanzas of Dayenu. It would take forever. So what we do is we have picked these up. Ilu Hotzianu mi Mitzrayim. If he had taken us out of Egypt, and then we back it up. Mi Mitzrayim Hotzianu Dayenu, and Dayenu means it would have been enough for us. And then so that is if God took us out of Egypt. And then we take the line, Ilu Natan lanu et Shabbat, if God had given us Sabbath, et Shabbat Natan lanu Dayenu. If we had only gotten the Sabbath, that would have been enough, Dayenu. And then we do, Ilu Natan lanu et Torah. Eta Torah Natan lanu Dayenu. If God had only given us the Torah, that would have been enough. And this is one which I have. Oh, what a cute puppy.
Thank you.
This is a Sherry. Oh, Binky? Stinky? What's his name?
Bacardi.
Oh, Bacardi. I thought you said
Yeah,
Binky.
he
or
looked
Stinky.
like the bat, and I was working with teenagers, and he was a therapy dog for I did special ed, so he was a therapy dog.
Oh, all right, so we had added this one. This is since the state of Israel. Ilu hechni sanu le'eretz Yisrael hechni sanu dayenu. Okay, lehikanes means to enter, to let enter. If he had entered us, if he had brought us, in other words, to the land of Israel, it would have been enough. And of course, post 1948, okay, that is something that we can say exists. Now,
This is, Carol, this is included. I'm looking at Safaria. That line is actually, that verse is included in
yeah?
Safaria Haggadah.
I started including that one as a Zionist. Okay, now, Sherry Stein,
Yeah.
this is for you. I saw this and I said, and I added this to my Seder, I think must have been last year. Each woman pours a drop of wine onto her plate as the plagues of Jewish women are described. These are the 10 plagues brought upon women in Jewish life. Would you like to read that?
Sure. The consistently male image of God, the lack of recognition of women rabbis, cantors, scholars, and decision makers who could serve as models for all of us, the biblical stories traditionally selected for commentary which neglect the role of women, the sexist language of most prayers and blessings, the repressive divorce laws and the exclusion of women as witnesses in a Jewish court, the education of our young women not being taken as seriously as that of our young men, the lack of equality in salary and promotional opportunities for women in Jewish education and community service. I think that's wonderful.
There's more.
What?
You did up to 7. There's 3 more. I could see your face right in front of me as I pulled this one out.
Okay,
You,
it's page 41. I don't have it.
okay, so the last 3. The devaluation of Jewish womanhood.
Oh, there it is. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
The devaluation of Jewish womanhood after the childbearing years are over. The denial by omission of single women, childless women, battered women, lesbians, the elderly, the poor, and the disabled from among the central concerns of organized Judaism. The prison created by the rigid traditional views of men and women. From these plagues, Judaism and women must be freed.
Now you can see why I was thinking of you.
Yes, I can. Hey, we're writing a women's Seder, and we changed every prayer to Shekinah.
Okay,
Where's this from, this list? This is great.
I don't even know. I had this pulled out from some book. It must have been from, I think it's a San Diego Women's
Ah.
Sagada. It must have been something like that, a special women's Sagada.
I love it.
Okay, yeah, now on page 3. So this is very important. There are certain minimal symbols that you must express, you must talk about. And this is the paragraph that begins, Pesach, Matzah, and Maror. Rabban Gamliel, Haya Omer, Rabbi Gamliel used to say, Kol Shelo Amar, Shlosha Devarim, everyone who did not mention these 3 things, Elu Pesach, which are at Passover, Lo Yatsa Yedei Chovato, has not fulfilled his obligation. Elu Hain, these are the ones. Pesach, Matzah, Umaror. You have to talk about the story, the matzah, I guess also the shankbone, but the Passover story, matzah, and the bitter herb. I mean, so those are the story, the matzah, of course, when we came out of Egypt quickly with our staves at our sides and our sandals on, and late at night we were ready to go, and the bitter herb and the bitterness of slavery. So these things, and then there's a paragraph to each one, but I didn't include that because we just wouldn't have time to do that. Now, I have some pieces of songs that I thought would be fun to learn. And I pulled this after the meal. You start doing singing. When I go to my Chabadniks, they don't do the singing afterwards, and I miss it. Friday night, when I lead the service with my husband, I will include all the songs because I miss it on the second night, but I will have all the songs. Okay, so we have, this first one here is Kilo Na'e, Kilo Ya'e. And it has a lot of repetition. And I just gave you the first little stanza. It goes like this. And there's words that I don't know, and there's words that I never looked up, but it goes like this. Dir bimlucha, bachur kachalacha, gedu gab yom rulo, lecha ulecha, lecha ki lecha, lecha ach lecha, lecha Adonai hamamlecha, kilo na'e, kilo ya'e. And it goes on, and each time it really does. I believe that it's all kinds of I could look. I believe it's just praise, words of praise, but words that are not, common in modern Hebrew. Let me see if I can find it. And so
Carol,
if you look in here,
it's in the
it's in the
In the
Haggadah on page
Haggadah?
41. Yeah, here it goes like this. To him it is fitting, to him it is due. The first paragraph was, mighty in majesty, supreme indeed, his legions sing to him. Yours alone, O God, is the world's sovereignty. And then Lacha means to you, and to you, Lacha, to you, because to you. And so that's all that Lacha means, is to you. To him it is fitting, to him it is due. They don't even translate the whole thing.
How
And then the
far
next-
into the second half is that? I'm looking at Safaria. I'm trying to find it.
It's page, it's after the
I don't have the
meal,
book. I'm using
after
Safaria.
the third cup,
I'm not using the book.
after Hallel,
After Hallel.
after Hallel. And so I think maybe a lot of people don't do it, but I like to do it. And the melody stays the same. And then the next one says, first in majesty, glorious indeed. And so every verse is just praise. His attendants sing to him, unique in majesty, great indeed, ruling in majesty. And the next one goes,
Mother always wanted that one.
and so these are words that, these are not common words. These are not your average words in Hebrew, everyday words. So you have to really read it carefully. It goes, Dagul bimlucha, hadur kahalacha, batikab yom rulo, and then it starts with Lacha. Everybody joins in on Lacha, ulecha, Lacha, ki Lacha. But there's words that are on the next, Zakai bimlucha, chasin kachalacha, taf sarav yom rulo. I mean, I don't know these in Ivrit, living Hebrew, in modern Hebrew.
Is this
So you
part of
can-
the song or is this the whole?
No, this is the first like little verse. Oh, the
Right.
whole thing is long. It goes, Paula,
Right, it
it's
goes on and on and on.
it does. It goes through
Got
many
8
verses.
verses.
Has anyone ever heard this?
Yes,
Yeah.
my father used to do it every Seder.
Okay. It goes from page 41 in the orange and yellow Haggadah to page 42. Takif Bimlucha, and I have to read it carefully every time because these words I don't use all the time. It's right, and it ends, and then you go into the fourth cup of wine, the last of the 4 cups.
What does na'e and ya'e mean?
I think,
It is fitting.
well, they say
It is
fitting,
proper.
kilo, because to him na'e, that's the fitting, kilo ya'e. I guess it means do.
It is proper.
I'm not sure. I don't know these words. Do you know this? Have you ever done this?
No,
Alice?
but I'm cheating. I have an interlinear Haggadah. And
Okay,
so
but have you ever
Never
heard this?
before. I do have the Haggadah. This is
Yeah,
for
mine.
people who think Maxwell House has too much Hebrew. You go for this one.
Yeah, well, this one is one that I use because it's
Carol?
nice. Yeah,
In Safaria, it says, since for him it is pleasant, for him it is suited.
yeah, it is fitting, it is due. You know, you're gonna see shades of translation, but again, the whole thing is all a praise of God. There's no real content here. If you look at every single verse, ruling in majesty, revered indeed, his angels sing to him. Yours alone, O God, is the world's sovereignty. That repeats. To him it is fitting, to him it is due. Okay, so that's that. Now, before we get to next year in Jerusalem and other songs, there is a melody that I learned, and I'm curious if anybody knows this. It's a little ditty before you launch into the blessing for wine. This is what I had learned. Here, so the 4th cup is coming. I didn't send this to you. It goes like this. Hineni muchanum zuman, hineni muchanum zuman, hineni muchanum zuman, hineni muchanum zuman, which is now like I am ready and prepared. Did anyone ever hear that? Okay, so it's before the cups of wine. And then it says, lekayem, to fulfill mitzvat, the mitzvah of kos, the cup, revi'it, the 4th, me'arba kosot, of 4 cups, l'shem yichud kudsha, I guess in honor of God's holy name. And then there's a little more, and then it gets into Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei pri hagafen. Okay, that's the regular short form of the blessing for wine. It's not like the first one, the Kiddush, which is long. Okay, so these are all abbreviated, and then you drink the 4th cup of wine. Okay, so before you get to the end, when they go, Nerdsaw is a 14th step. Let's see, let's go back to the beginning steps. Okay, they have 14 steps. When we sing in the beginning, 14 steps. The 14th one is Nerdsaw, conclude the Seder. So we're getting towards the end. And then it's Chasal, 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 Sidor Pesach, Hilchato, Kecho, 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 Mishpato, Vehukato, and that goes on. But Nerdsaw is the 14th step. So what is here to the end of the book are songs, fun songs, songs of praise. So right at the bottom, if you have the orange, this one, at the end of that page of Hasal Sidor Pesach is L'Shana Haba'ah Yerushalayim. There's 2 melodies. One goes like this: L'Shana Haba'ah, L'Shana Haba'ah, L'Shana Haba'ah Yerushalayim. Lishana Haba, Lishana Haba Yerushalayim, and you can get faster. Lishana Haba, Lishana, and so we have fun with it. Or, then there's another melody. Lishana Haba Yerushalayim, Lishana Haba Yerushalayim, Lishana Haba, Lishana Haba, Lishana Haba Yerushalayim, and so forth. So, are you familiar with those melodies? Nobody? You don't sing
Lishana,
that?
Abaa. That's a different one.
No, that's a song.
Yeah, that's the song.
And
Okay.
Sheva Hamir Pesach and this word Siforim. No, they don't. Yes, they do. Okay, that's a modern song, but this is at the end of the Seder. We sing either this, either Lishana Haba.
So if you, Carol, if you sing it like that, how do you fit in the last word? What's the melody? How does that fit in?
The Yerushalayim.
Habanuya.
Well,
Habnuya.
that's not. Yeah, that's rebuilt. Habanuya. That's not here in the it's only Lishana Haba Abi Yerushalayim.
Oh,
That's the only
in the
thing.
Safaria, it has that. Okay.
Benuya is rebuilt.
Yeah, that's what they have.
Rebuilt because destroyed twice, and this is built up Jerusalem. So, I mean, I don't know. I've never done that with
Yeah,
that
because
word.
that's included here in Safaria. That's why I was
Yeah.
asking.
So they've made obviously they've made some
They've
modern,
updated, right?
inclusions, but these are the old the standbys. All right, now we get to Who Knows One, and this is another one that goes on forever.
Mhm.
So Who Knows One? I'll tell you how many they know. They know more than one.
Mhm.
Okay. And I didn't include this year Adir Who, and I'll tell you why. It's a melody to me that, well, first of all, that melody always sounds to me like the Salvation Army. Listen to it. Adir Who, Yivnei Tobikaro, Bimhera, Yameinu Bikaro, El B'nai, B'nai Veitcha Bikar, and that goes on also forever. That goes on from all the way page 44. Okay, the reason I didn't include it is because I told you that I am not in favor of the rebuilding of the temple, because that would be a holy war like nobody's business. Can you imagine if we wanted to rebuild a temple in Jerusalem? What do you have there? You have Moskowitz and Lubavitch. You have the two mosques up there. You have the two mosques. Can you imagine us destroying the mosques and putting up a temple and having animal sacrifices and all? So I can't, in good conscience, I cannot sing that anymore. I am not praying for the rebuilding of the temple. And I'm not praying for jihad. And that's what it would be. It would be a bloodbath. And,
You ever think
when
of
I
the
do the Amidah, I don't pray for the rebuilding the temple when I do the Amidah. I leave that out
Yeah.
because philosophically, I can't get it out of my mouth. Now, you want to sing that song, you can sing it. But I refuse to teach it because I cannot justify the words. Okay, I mean, that's just me. Because I read everything and I know what it says. It's, to me, it's not just sounds. I know what these words mean, and I don't, like you say, in Safaria, do they have that in Safaria, Adir Who?
Yes,
Sherry?
yes.
And what do the words say?
The English?
Yeah, just read a little bit of the English.
Mighty is he, may he build his house soon. Quickly, quickly in our days soon. God build your house soon.
Okay,
Chosen
so you
is
can
he.
see, there you can, it's build it soon. I personally, I'm not going to pray for that. I mean, if you want to sing it because it's a fun song, be gesund, be my guest, but I can't, I will not sing that this year. all the years I have, but I'm looking at the words and I'm reading what
So
it
what do you
says.
do at your daughter's house?
They don't sing all these. They
Ah.
do a lot of time with it asking questions of all the 5 kitties, and then we eat and fall asleep in our soup. They don't
Yeah,
do
but it's
lessons
2
to sing these
a.m. in the
songs.
morning.
At least. All right, now here is one that I really like. So on the bottom of page 3 that I sent you is Echad Miodea, and that's really one
Oh,
that
I
I
like
love.
that.
And I insist that you don't like that?
Oh, I love it.
We sing that one. Oh, yeah, we sing that one all the way to the end. Oh, this, yeah. And that goes all the way to,
Actually,
13,
if
isn't it?
if everyone, when you get a chance, if you go on the Women's League website and look at Rabbi Stella talk that she did, the pre-Pesach Getting in the Mood for Passover, we did a song parody, not really a parody, but like a round, like everyone took turns with this in English. It was really good. So if you want to look up how she did it, it's on the recording.
So there are several ways to do this. There's different ways to sing it, and then there's in English. In English, we have a lot of fun with it, with Hebrew too. So again, it depends on what you grew up with, what melody, but it says Echad Miodea, 1, who knows when, and we're going to be going up to 13. So it's a long song, is a small print and 2 pages, 45 and 46 in my book. Okay, so
I have it in
Echad Miodea.
Spanish, and I have it in Ladino and also Bukharian. You can see it on, yes, you can hear that on YouTube. It's really cool.
Yeah, it is, where they beat the drums and,
Oh my God.
oh, it's fabulous. There's a recording on YouTube where they do it with drums and it's guys and, oh,
But my rabbi is Argentinian, and so he usually sings the Ladino version, the Quien su prece y Nanteniense. So
Oh, that would be fun. Since I know Spanish, I'm a little Ladino, that would be fun. But my guests would be lost. But this year, I'm having a family from Ecuador, and they're not Jewish, but they're my guests. They're friends of mine. A little girl calls me abuelita, and they treat me as a member of their family, and she certainly treats me like her grandmother because she sent me pictures of everything she does, and she's a fabulous little girl. I am going to have her read the questions in Spanish and in English, and I'm going to tell my kids, buzz off. I already got her Afikoman gift, so I'm going to say to them, don't go looking. I mean, you can look, but don't find. And then if you see where the Afikoman is, nudge her towards it. We'll probably play hot and cold, maybe caliente and frio. So we give her a chance to find it and collect her prize, which I already have in a bag for her. So, Echad Miodea, it's a question. Who knows one? And then there's the answer. Echad Ani Odea. I know one. And then you're not surprised about this, I'm sure. Echad Eloheinu. One is our God. Sheba Shemayim, who is in heaven. U Va'aretz, and on earth. Were you surprised? I don't think so. And then it goes up to 13, and I have here for number 2. Shnayim Miodea. Shnayim Aniodea. So everybody says the question, and then we go around the table, and everyone has a number. And I'll show you how it works. So it goes, everyone goes Shnayim Miodea, Shna, and then the one who has 2, she has to, or he has to say Shnayim Aniodea, and then they have Shnei Luchot Habrit, the 2 tablets of the covenant. What a surprise! Echad Eloheinu, 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 Sheba Shemayim Uva'aretz. So I'll quickly go through what the thing, when it gets to 3, Shlosha Miodea, Shlosha Aniodea. Shlosha Avot, the 3 patriarchs, and then it backs up. Then it goes again. Shlosha Avot, Shnei Luchot Habrit, Echad Eloheinu, 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 Sheba Shemayim Uva'aretz. 4, Arba Miodea. And then, of course, 4 are the matriarchs. And then 5, Chamisham Yodea, 5 are the books of the Torah, another big surprise. And then this one, unless you knew Talmud, you would know this. Shisham Yodea, who knows 6? 6 are the orders, the Seders, Sidrei Mishnah, the Seders of the Mishnah. See, so that one people don't know. Okay, 7. Shiva Miyodea, the 7 days of the week. Shiva Yemei Shabta, 7 days of the week. 8. Shmona Miyodea. 8 are the, oh, this is the fun. 8 are the days to circumcision. So when we're doing it in English, we go snip, snip. So the person says, we go, who knows? So when we're doing it in English, it goes like this. Who knows 8? And whoever has number 8, Alin, you're number 8. So you say, I know 8. Say it. Say, I know 8.
I know 8. Who knows 8? I know 8.
8 are the days to circumcision.
8 are the days.
And then we all go
circumcision.
snip, snip.
Snip, snip.
There we go to 9. All right. So you go Tisha Miyodea. Who knows 9? 9 are the months to childbirth. And then all the women go, oh. And then Asara, 10. Who knows 10? Okay, where are we? 8. They lost it. 4 to 10. 10. Oh, another surprise. 10 of the commandments. Asara, Dibaria. Yeah, the Dibrot, Esther had Dibrot. So then we go to 11. I'm turning the page. Shneim Asar. Where was wait, did I get to 10? Okay. Who knows? What isn't happy? Oh, who knows 11? 11 are the stars in Joseph's dreams. And then you would go back. And so what we would do are, so let's say we have 11 people, each one has one of these. So 11 says 11 are the stars in Joseph's dreams. Then the next one who has 10, 10s are the commandments, 9 are the months of childbirth, 8 are the days of circumcision. And everyone goes snip, snip. 7 are the days of the week, 6 are the orders of the Mishnah, 5 are the books of the Torah, 4 are the mothers, 3 are the fathers, 2 are the tablets of the covenant. And then everyone goes, one is Hashem, one is Hashem, one is Hashem, like a barbershop quartet in the heaven on earth. And then we go, ooh, ah, ooh, ah, ah, ooh, ah, ah, ooh, ah, ah. We have fun. Well, we once had a friend who was kind of sleepy by this time. And whatever he had, and let's say he was 8, we would get up to, 9 and we go 8. We go, 8, wake up. And every time we have to tell him, wake up, because we can't go on until you have your number. We can't get to 7 until we say 8. And we always have to wake him up. It's so funny. Shnei Masar Miyodea. So 12, who knows 12? And then 12 are the tribes of Israel, and then we keep going back. Then 13, who knows 13? Shlosha Asar Miyodea. And 13 are God's attributes, and so forth. Okay, so you can do it in Hebrew, like Echad Miyodea, Echad Ani Yodea, or you can go, who knows 1? I know 1. 1 is a da, 2 is a da, da 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 da, and it's fun. Okay, now it's almost 2:30. So Chad Gadya, it's in Aramaic. It's a silly song about a goat. Chad Gadya, that my father bought for 2 zuzim, all the olives there. These words are not Hebrew, but I wrote you a little note. This song is written in Aramaic, so the modern Hebrew words are different. Ez is a goat, gadya. Achal instead of achla. Chatul, there's a totally different word for cat here, shonra. Kelev instead of kalba. So we have
dog, though.
Yeah, Kelev. There is a dog.
Dogs.
Right, but the shunra, the cat, I never heard that word. Chatul is the word for cat in modern Hebrew. So you start with Chad Gadya, Chad Gadya, Chad Gadya, Chad Gadya. Now, the way I learned how to sing this, My father always said dizabin. So it's dizvan in modern Hebrew, even if it's dizavan. But my father always said dizabin. I guess he learned that from his father.
So did my father.
Oh yeah, dizabin. So he goes,
Yeah.
dizabin abba bitrezus echad gadya, and the verse. V'ata shonra v'achla lagadya, dizabin abba bitrezus echad gadya. So there's a v'ata. Now came the cat that ate the goat that my father bought for 2 zuzim. Then there's a dog. Viata chalba v'nashach l'shonrag. Yacha l'gadya. Zabin abba bitresus. Chad gadya. And if I've had enough wine, I can do it quickly at the end of the, because I'm giggling by the end of the Seder in my own house. I've had the 4 cups, which is more than I can take. And viata chutra, now comes a stick, the chika, and beat, the chalba, the dog, the nashach, the shanra, and it just goes on. And then we try to go chad gadya, chad gadya, chad gadya, chad gadya. But since it's Aramaic, I have to read it carefully, but that's how I'm giggling all over the place.
So, Carol, I have a question.
Yeah.
I have a question for you. If it's in Aramaic, because
Yeah.
when I learned to sing this, it was Bizre Zuze. So in the Ashkenazic. So if it's in Aramaic, do they still use the modern Hebrew pronunciation of the letters? I mean, like that.
Yeah.
The T,
Yeah.
yes, are the
We don't,
same.
well, I don't know how
does that-
Aramaic was pronounced. There is a dictionary in Aramaic. I know that somebody from, I think, Iraq, an Iraqi Jew, wrote, and he used his mother's lullabies, and he put together a dictionary. But you're asking, like, is it Chad Gadya instead of Chad Gadyo? Look, if somebody wants to say Chad Gadyo, go right for it. If you want to do it in Ashkenazi,
also
but that's not how I
But
learned
the
it.
Bizre,
Also
like
the
the
stuff tough.
Bizre Zuze.
Yes, that's my father did the same thing.
How
But
did
they
he
were
did he
Ashkenazi.
do it with awe? Did he say Godya? Did he say Gadyo? Chad Gadyo?
I don't
Or Chad
remember that
Gadya?
part.
My father said Hagad, yeah, but it was also the suf sound was the S, not the T.
Right.
Because
So
they were
other,
Ashkenazi.
so did he say Vyasa instead of Vyata? When there's a
No.
tav?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Vyasa chalba v'nasha l'shon radyachla l'gadya. Okay, well, I say whatever your tradition is, this is fine. This is not Torah. This is not mishpat. It's not a law, and
Not a
it's a fun
prayer
song.
either.
Not a prayer. It's a profane song. It's not. It's not in the sense of. It's just a fun song. It's not something holy. So you can say it the way you learned it. Say it the way you learned it. Enjoy it. And then the last thing I just wanted to say is at the end of the Seder, I have an Israeli flag and I have an American flag. We take it out. Everybody has to stand, and we sing Hatikva. And that's how I end the Seder.
That's nice.
And after
Very nice.
Hatikva, then people could go home. If they don't sing Hatikva, they must stay. And we had some fun with Elijah. We put my son in a robe, and we put a towel on his head that looks like an Egyptian. It looks like this way and this way. And I have a stick, a big stick that I have. I give that to him, and he will either come around the back or the front. We hear knock, knock, knock. I wonder who that is. And we open it up, and it's Elijah, Eliyahu Hanavi, and everybody stands and we sing, Eliyahu Hanavi. By the way, Eliyahu Hanavi is not in the Hebrew, and it's in the last page of this Haggadah, which we use, and it is in transliteration. So why they don't have it in Hebrew, I don't know, but it's Eliyahu Hanavi and it's in English. So in case you're wondering where it is, and Hatikva is in transliteration too, and Echad, some of Echad Miyodea and Chad Gadya. And but it have Chad Gadyo, so maybe they put it in Ashkenazi, Chad Gadyo. And it has this one, yeah. No, everybody to his own. Abba, Bisrei, Zuze, I would never recognize like that. And they have Adir Hu.
Carol, can I share something?
Absolutely.
Okay, in case anybody else is in the same position as me, I'm 1,500 miles away from my grandchildren. So I made 2 afikomen envelopes and I mailed one to my son. So I will put the matzah in this one on Zoom, and then my son will hide the identical one that I sent to him for my grandson to find like magic.
Oh, that's
That's
so
great.
cool.
I love
That's
it. Where are they?
huge.
The best I can do under these circumstances.
Where, Beth, where are your grandchildren?
In the Upper Peninsula of Michigan.
Oh, wow. And where are you?
I'm in Potomac, Maryland, outside
Oh.
of DC.
My brother lives in Potomac.
Grandchildren are about.
Well,
That's wonderful.
somebody
2 years
mentioned
away.
an Argentine rabbi. I have an Argentinian rabbi, so I don't know if we're with the same rabbi, but he's got a
Actually,
lovely-
there are several. There in and the one I have, it turns out there was another one that went to Hillcrest, and they went to the same school. They were a year apart, so they knew each other. So funny.
Fabian Werbin is the rabbi that I'm
Ah.
talking about.
I'm gonna write it down. Fabian, I'll
Werbin,
ask my brother.
Werbin.
I've heard that name.
He's the new assistant rabbi. The main
Ah.
rabbi is Stuart Weinblatt. And that's
I'll ask my brother if he knows either one of these. What's the shul?
this is Congregation B'nai Tzedek.
Okay,
And what is your brother's name?
Philip Shainman.
Okay.
So that was the best I could do in 2. It was like it was like
Passover in 2
a
hours.
2-minute thing. But I think we covered a lot of the main points, and I wish you all a Pesach Sameach, a Zis Pesach with your families, even if they're from far or near. For 2 years, we did a Zoom Seder, and this year we're finally going to do a small in-person, and I'm very excited about it because I
So we'll
can't
see you-
hand the gefilte fish through the screen.
Yeah.
The first year that we did it on Zoom, my son actually drove to my house to pick up cooked food so that we could eat the same food.
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah, that's wonderful. Well, I think people were creative. You know,
Mhm.
I had assigned parts. I sent them parts to read in English and Hebrew. And so we did that, to my nieces and my sister-in-law. And so we kind of had it like people taking turns. And then we sang the songs together. But, nothing is the same as, and we do a lot of shtick. We do parody songs. We do cooking and
I
cleaning.
do that also. I interject some of the songs, the fun songs, in between while we're doing the Seder. It does make it a little longer.
But it makes it fun.
Yeah.
And then I have these little wind-up toys for the
Yep.
for the plagues, and I also have the masks for the plagues.
I
And
have
then
the
I
whole
have-
table with that.
Yeah, my cow, Mrs. Was something with a G. I always forget what it is, Guernsey or something. It's a gold. It's the name of a cow. That's a Jewish name. And when she gets cattle disease, I just knock her over and go moo. And we have hail I have ping pong balls that I throw at everybody. That's hail. Oh, hail. Yeah, I mean, for darkness, I went to the dollar store and I got sunglasses that I hand around. And I mean, we do shtick, we do funny stuff. And that's the way we like it. We sing all the funny songs, we sing Go Down, Moses. And, every year I have a giant bag. And readings, I pull serious readings too, poems or readings that are really serious. This year, there'll probably be from American Jewish World Committee. I think they sent me a reading for Ukraine. And every year, I get in the mail or online, you can always find some serious readings about the messed up state of the world and where there are people in need. So the thing that's nice is that we have always invited people who are not only Jewish, we've invited people from other countries because I teach ESL. So, if I, one year it was some Brazilians or some Spanish speaking people, it was a woman from Iran. This year, some Ecuadorians, and this little girl, she's going to have a lot of fun. And it's anyone who we feel wants to come. I have I have a knitting group, and one is Lutheran and one is Catholic, very, very Catholic, very involved in the church. They came one year, it's like, it depends what's going on. And we love sharing our Seder and our sukkah, that's the fun of it, right? So I hope you all find your own steam, find your own way and what you like, your own customs and the Seder plate from the beginning all the way through, and you'll find what you love and what becomes part of your repertoire. But I have my bag
that's what's really fun about doing your own Haggadah and putting together a book, is that you can insert and take out every year, different parts and different songs or different readings. So that, because you can make the Seder, it could last days if you add all these things in, but it gives you that opportunity where you can take the crux of the Seder, but you can then have fun with it and make it more creative.
I have books sitting there, and I have like a piece of paper in, and then I make copies of these things beforehand. And so and one year, I think it was in the American Jewish World Committee, because I had made a donation. They had questions that were very interesting. So we handed these questions out, and people had to come up with an answer, and then that led to a little discussion. So there's all different kinds of things,
I used the Seinfeld Haggadah last year just to add in.
I never saw that.
It's from Haggadah.com.
It's really nice because it's not just silly. There's some really nice readings in there. Some of them are silly, but it's a real Haggadah, and there's some really nice writings in there that are fun to use. So you can interject a little bit of fun, but a perspective that's interesting.
Kids Creek has one too on there.
I just got a new one this year. This one, I think I mentioned it last week, The Promise of the Land. Whoop, I have my thing blurred out, but The Promise of the Land.
There we go.
I have a collection of all
quite
kinds.
Beautiful.
I have one, I actually have from a course that I took, something that they used to use in the kibbutzim before statehood. And there's readings in that interesting. There's one that I have by Richard Coder, who was a speaker at our synagogue, and he has pictures, very original. He has pictures of the four sons as the Marx Brothers. It's really,
my God.
I'm not going to find
so
that.
funny.
I'm going to look
Actually,
through that.
there's which Carol? Who was it? Was he the one who did the artwork of all the different depictions of the four sons?
Well, no. He did the Mark he had in his, but it was an illustrated. It was a funny.
Because we had another presenter one year who did
all the four sons
a book, and there's all different artwork of the depictions, all different
a
kinds
long
of
time ago, 20 years ago, maybe a long time ago.
Those are
1920s. You're talking about the guy from the 1920s and 30s?
No, it was later than that, but they're fascinating. There's like
one looks like a German burger, looks like a German gentleman there.
He's Polish, yeah. This year, our grandchildren are 3.5 and 18 months. So we are doing what they go to, of course, Jewish nursery school, and we are doing the whatever they're doing at nursery school. That's our Haggadah this year.
Very good.
Well, like I said, that's the essence of it, is to teach your children, right? The
Right.
thing from generation to generation. And that's one of the reasons the Jewish people have lasted. There's a book, The Jew and the Lotus, and it was the Dalai Lama came to speak with some Jewish rabbis and scholars and to find, what's the secret of your survival? And apparently this is one of the things that we transmit our law and our customs every year. And the Seder was a perfect example, you know, of transmission of custom and history. So if you ask a person who's not religious, have you ever gone to a Seder? Chances are they'll say yes. Or did you ever go to a Seder in your family, somebody in your family? Probably yes, somebody, some aunt, some cousin, some grandparent would have had a Seder, even if they're not religious, you know, and they will know the story of the Exodus. So have fun, but the thing is, you can be loosey-goosey and you can have a lot of fun and you can add in readings and you can sing the satire songs and think of me with my flags at the
Don't
end.
forget your scallions to hit people during Diana.
Do we
Oh,
have
yeah.
class next week, Carol? Are you saying we
No,
don't?
no, I'm taking off next week because my kids are coming. And that's the last weekend that I can really do some cleaning, because then I work during the week part-time. So that's why I'm going to go back now for a couple of hours. I'm going to continue cleaning cabinets.
Do we
and
get
taking out
come
some
back
eggs.
after Passover then? Do we come back?
The 29th, I think we come back. The Women's League definitely has no classes on the 15th, which is a Friday, and the 22nd, because I think that that's the 7th or the 8th night, but it's still a holiday.
It's the
so
7th.
no class.
Friday is the 7th day. Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
Right, so Friday night would be holiday, going into the,
8th
okay.
day.
So the 29th, I think it is. Because the 22nd is that Friday, so yeah, there'll be 3 weeks. And then we'll get back to work. And then we'll continue with the Saturday morning service. We're having fun. Okay, I hope you're having fun. I hope you're learning.
Yeah.
I hope you're enjoying.